All right, what's going on, everyone? It's John and Cody with an NBC 3-card order of some heat. Three super big cards. You are not going to want to miss this.
All right, guys, so like Cody just said, we only have 3 cards in this PSA order, but each one is worth about $1,000 raw. And I showed a couple of these, I cleaned them, sent them at the $60, there's a February special, $60 each to get these graded. They're all crackers from Beckett. Let me open them up and you'll see them here in just a second. Okay, guys, so here are the 3 cards. I'm gonna be honest, we did not get an upcharge. And because of that, I got real anxious and I looked at the grades. We don't typically do that, but I was like, oh no. Yeah. And so I looked at it and I'm not gonna say any more than that. I will let you guys see what we got here. But I cleaned 2 of these on film and posted them. I know a lot of you guys saw them, the LeBron and the Kobe I cleaned. And we'll see if it made a difference here. So we'll start with the LeBron James here. So the back, here was the, they were all Beckett cards, all of these BGS. This one did have subgrades on the back, as you can see here. Had really good subgrades except for centering was an 8.5, and I can almost guarantee you it's for that back centering there. It's obviously really off left to right, a little bit off up and down. Other than that, if you watch the video, there was a little speck on the surface on the front that I was able to get off. So I feel like I improved the surface on the back. Not really anything you can do about centering. So there is the centering on the front. It might be slightly off up and down, but I feel like that's within the 60-40 range. So again, we had a 9. I had a lot of people saying this is gonna come back an 8, but it did come back a 9, so that's not bad, pretty good. So it didn't bump up to a 10 like I was hoping, but it did not bump down, which is okay. So that means we'll probably get our money back for this card, because obviously a PSA 9 is going to sell for quite a bit more than a Beckett 9, probably about $100 to $200 more. So that will cover your fees essentially and taxes. So there you go. So that was the good one.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So this is a nasty Drew Brees card. So obviously this is the well, not obvious. This is the Chrome card out of 999. The corners on this looked really good to me, really sharp. The centering, super nice on the front and back. Here are the pre-grades. And this is why we bought it. You know, 9.5s on everything except for the surface, which got an 8.5. And I don't know what it is with this kind of card in particular. Look how nice that is. There is a little dimple that you can see right there. That was the one thing. And then there are some surface scratches. And all of that weird color variation, that's just the slab. It's not on the card. For whatever reason, every single one of these cards I've seen have a lot of surface scratches you just can't do anything about. So I spent probably an hour trying to clean it. Really didn't make it much better. And so we ended up going from a BGS 9 to a PSA 8. So that hurts. That hurts. Yeah. That's probably the difference between $1,000 card and a $700 card. Yeah. So probably lost quite a bit. Now the thing is, with this card, everything being so good except for the scratches, I'm kind of considering sending it to SGC, because I've seen a lot of stuff that SGC doesn't grade scratches as harshly, and we've actually seen that a little bit. Your Mac Jones from SGC had a big scratch on it and it came back a 10. So I don't know, that might be an interesting test that we consider doing, but obviously at an 8 we're losing some money off of that one. So
the thing with SGC is, I mean, we'll spend a little bit more money and we're already losing on the card, but we're going to get the card back in like a week or 2.
Yeah,
so
and I mean, I feel like an SGC 9 is going to sell for more than a PSA 8.
I think that's probably right.
Fair? Yeah. So we'll consider that, and it's not that expensive to send to SGC either. I think it's what, $15-20?
Yeah, because there's no value.
Yeah, regardless of the price. So last card, and I know a lot of people watch this video. In my opinion, I made this card a lot nicer. As you can see, it had pretty good subgrades other than the surface, and if you go back and watch that video, all of the scratches came out on the front. The only thing that didn't come out was on the back. You might be able to see it a little bit right by his face. There's some really, really light scratching. Now, the one thing this card does have is a little bit of greening. Yeah. I've seen a lot of cards on eBay, PSA 10s, Beckett 9.5s, whatever, with greening. I just don't know if that happened before or after the card was graded. So I was reading a lot of your comments. You guys were saying, oh, if it's greening, it's an automatic 8 or lower. That appears to be the case because we got a 7 on this card. So we actually cleaned it, made it look nicer, and it went from an 8 to a 7. Yeah. So I don't know what we want to do with this one. Do we risk cracking it, send it to SGC? Because I don't think it's going to come back any worse.
It's all about the greening.
It's all about the greening. And I don't know how SGC grades the greening. So
is that an old Beckett label?
This is an old Beckett label. So that could be the other thing. Like this could have been graded before it turned green.
Maybe it got laxed and they got better grade. I don't know.
Who knows? But I definitely made the surface on the corners specifically much, much better. I don't know. So that's where we're at. This, in my opinion, was a very disappointing order. Everything went down except for the LeBron.
I mean, the LeBron was our knight in shining armor, considering everything.
That was the one I thought had a chance at a 10. And then it kind of opens up the discussion. If you send cards at that higher level tier, do those graders grade more harshly than, the other graders who do the $15, $20 submission rates?
Sure.
I don't know. These are obviously Hall of Famers. Some may say the greatest of all time for the two basketball players there, but does that come in? I feel like it shouldn't come into effect, but does it? I don't know.
I think it does, but I think that's...
So, regardless, I think Cody, John, and I are going to have to think about this one a little bit. I think we're just obviously going to sell the LeBron. It's kind of a good time to sell with the end of basketball season coming up. And at a 9, probably break even, make a little bit of money. But the other two, I feel like it would be an interesting test since we've already got so much invested into these cards. Just send to SGC and see what they come back.
Yeah. So I think even if they bump up 1, right? Say we get an SGC 8 on the Kobe, an SGC 9 on the Drew Brees, it still will sell for as much or, maybe a little bit more.
And honestly, I think the difference between an SGC 8 and a PSA 8 or an SGC 7 and a PSA 7 are almost not much difference at all.
I agree.
So it might be worth doing that. We'll have to think about it. Let us know what you guys want us to do. Do you think that you'd like to see what happens if we do that? The other thing that I was going to bring up, I have had almost no luck with these Beckett slabs crossing over to PSA.
I was saying the same
You'll
thing.
see I've probably already posted it by now, but I had a 19 card reveal, and I think I had 3 or 4 Beckett labels. None of them bumped up. Some of them bumped down, and I think 2 of them remained the same.
And in my most recent order, which may be up, may not be up, but both SGC went to a PSA at the same grade.
Yeah.
But Beckett, which I don't really mess with.
From what I've seen, your best crossovers are SGC, HGA, and then CSG green labels are usually pretty good. I would not recommend cracking Beckett's going forward. After what I've seen, they just do not bump up unless you can significantly clean the card and make it better.
But that's what you did with the Kobe, and it still went down.
Right, but I feel like that's because of the greening. But I don't know. So anyway, guys, that is our $3,000 reveal right here. Very disappointing in my opinion, but hey, you live and learn. We took a shot. We did not hit the target. But that's just going to help us to adjust our strategy moving forward and figure out how we want to reinvest the money from these cards. So
they can't all be winners, and I think we're posting this video not because we're proud of this, but just for transparency, right?
Yep.
We tried, we failed, but we can still go back, we recover from it, and try again with another submission.
All right. Well, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will hopefully have something better to show you guys in the future. See you then.